One of the friars of the 16th century, Jacinto de la Serna, documented the way of life of religious people, and he said they don't get married, they don't procreate children, his life is very bored. No. They live like monks. But tell me, did you ever heard about something that in India was known as Pancha Tantra?
Yeah.
See? Do you know anything about the tantric yoga?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, in the Catholic tradition, the priests don't supposed to get married either. They live in celibacy. However, religious people has a special behavior regarding sexual energy. Okay. These people here lives like monks. I told you that they have a special diet, and you know, he said that they used to make fasts and abstinences. A glass of water and a tortilla in the daytime and a drink of cornmeal in the nighttime is all that they got as meal. Only once every 20 days they were able to eat whatever they want, and they fasted for 80 days, sometimes for 4 years. Till today, if you want to make a trip with the cactus or with the magic mushrooms, 80 days of fasts and abstinences. See? That's the preparation. Okay. I will say that till today, one of the characteristics of the shamans is to have the control of the elements. And I was telling you about the elementals of nature. See? Mayas called them bacabes or bacabo, the barriers of the heavenly powers on earth, because they are the ones who rule the legion of elementals of nature. And they related to the cardinal point, seasons and elements too. And there's a couple of niches right here which has a table where there's two of them sitting. One of them has an armadillo on its back, the other one is coming out of a seashell. In the other side we have one that looks like a ninja turtle. Okay, on the other side, right there.
Thank you, no answer.
And finally we have another one that have a beehive on the side. We call them bacabes. I'm talking about these two kind of square things with the tables where we got this guy sitting. Okay? And señores, I will say that we don't have an inferior self. There's thousands of them, and all of them are fighting, see, to take our place for them to get experience. Okay? And that's why if you want to control the elements of nature, you first need to control the elementals of yourself. If you want to be the king of the world, you need to be first the king of yourself. So that's why at the bottom of the line, all this information, all this education was for them to learn how to control themselves, okay? So they can control the elements. I told you that Maya people till today grow its own food, and that the rain that we have over here is just showers. And sometimes we see how in our, our neighbors, in the next community, the corn is growing beautiful and ours is drying out. So you know what we do? We go to get the shaman. He's going to make a ritual. Okay? He's going to actually make a ritual for him to be able to control the rain and make them come in our communities. And that is what Mayan people used to do over here in the 17th century. After finishing the work on the hacienda that the Spanish built in the 17th century nearby, okay, Mayan people used to get over here for them to make these rituals of fertility and water. And seeing the Spanish that Mayan people used to come to pray on this place, they call it the church. So the Spanish name it the church, as they name it the nunnery house to this building because of the small chambers where these people live like monks. Okay? And that's why I was showing you that tiny hall, because the first harvest, I told you, is not for us to eat. Part of that we use it to offer to the souls of the ancestors, but the rest is for us to hang at the four corners, say, of the house, to pay back the elementals of nature for what we get. At the end, to do the sacred, that is the real meaning of sacrifice, facere, say, to do the sacred, not necessarily has to be the sacrifice of somebody, say. It's actually when you want something that you don't have, for you to pay for something that you get, or sometimes because of sin, you have to make sacrifices. Sometimes a lot of animals were asked to people to sacrifice them. And you know why is that? if you may get sad if you need to get rid of your material possessions. And in the ancient times, they really appreciate his cows, his goats, and all that, and that's why a lot of them were actually offered to sacrifice. Say, whatever makes you feel sorry for what you have done. Because Mayan people till today believe that the disease comes from the destruction that we do to the elementals. That's why the way how shamans classify medicine is not because of the chemical components, but because of his relationship with nature. Till today we are educated to meditate, when we see a wood table, to go back since the beginning, since the wood for the, that was made, since started as a seed. See, you start thinking on that, you start seeing how the seeds start making roots, how a little plant start coming, how it grows, how the laborers comes, cut the wood, how all the wood is all processed, because if you educate your mind to concentrate your thoughts that way, you will start seeing behind the forms, the impulse of life, and you will see that the parasites and the birds that lives, they all belong to the same spirit. Okay? So that is actually how people were educated, and till today we have shamans in this area.